into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the cloud.
Right, it said, I will ascend above the heights of the cloud. Remember, this Bible was written how many years ago? 2,000 years ago. 2,000 years ago was when Revelations, or when Christ came on the scene. The book of Genesis, which Moses recorded, the book of Genesis was written, it was written, it was written 3,500 years ago, okay? So Moses, the book of Genesis was written 3,500 years ago. The Bible itself, from Genesis to Revelations, took 1,500 years to write. This little book took 1,500 years to write. So now, a prophecy that was in the Bible 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, said what? Read it again.
I will ascend above the heights of the clouds.
What ascends above the heights of the clouds? Every day you see it. Planes, airplanes, helicopters. Read that other verse. I will put my above that.
Oh, I got that. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven.
Did he not go into the heavens? Did he not go into outer space? Read.
I will exalt my throne above the stars of God.
Did he not put his throne on the stars of God? What are they talking about now? They're talking about putting up a space station on the moon. And guess what? I believe they already have a space station on the moon. I believe they had that for 20, 30 years already. Building it up there. They have secret things going on up there on that moon, man. The so-called white man thinks he's going to explore the universe. Read on.
I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation.
Who is the congregation of God? The so-called black man, West Indian man, Puerto Rican man. You are the congregation of God.
That's right.
You are the chosen people of the Heavenly Father, the creator of this universe. Read on.
In the sides of the north.
What side are we living in of this world? What do they call this? North America. See how these Bible prophecies are crystal clear when you have somebody to explain and break them down to you, and not these Negro pastors in the churches that claim to be righteous men that only want your money. Reverend, make a dollar. Reverend, they had a reverend called Reverend Dollar. That was his actual name. Creflo Dollar.
That says what he gonna do.
Reverend, make me rich.
That don't tell you what he gonna do.
No, he said, wait a minute. He said, I need a new airplane.
I need a new airplane. And what is this? And that other punk ass dude, Kurt Franklin. Kurt Franklin, gay as hell, wearing a damn suit, a white man's suit, a European suit with a tie on it. Said when Jesus returns, he's gonna be dressed like me in an Armani suit. First of all the dudes that make them suits are homosexuals and faggots, all right? We are preaching. What are you doing? The Bible discriminates. What are you talking about? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Where's your Bible at? Where's your Bible at? Finish that off.
Bible, you read it for me. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds.
Right, the so-called white man ascended above the heights of the clouds in 1969 when they sent their Apollo spacecraft to the moon. Read on. You don't know nothing about a real preacher. You don't know nothing about a real man.
Broke down.
That's why you broke down right now. Read on.
You know, took all your money.
That's why you giving your welfare check to the reverend. Keep giving your welfare check to the so-called reverend. Maybe he gonna save you.
Go pay the white man.
Go pay the white man. Keep loving the so-called white man. Look what it's guided you.
You on the bus.
Look what the so-called white man has done for you. Not a damn thing. Read on.
I will be like the Most High.
And that's what the so-called white man thinks in his heart. That he gonna be just like God himself. That he's gonna be just like the Most High. But the Most High got another thing in store for him. Hold that sign up. No, that other one. We try to wake your ass up. We giving you love right now. Talking about don't discriminate. Then the so-called white man, go tell the so-called white man that.
Yeah.
Why don't you go curse him out? Don't discriminate. Yeah, you are turning a blind eye to everything your people go through in the ghetto. And you want to tell us don't discriminate. That's like saying, if you back a dog into a corner, right? And you beating the hell out of that dog, and the dog turns back and tries to bite that person that's beating him, you gonna get mad at the dog? Come on now. This is what they call that fright or flight, right?
Fight or flight.
Fright or flight. Fight or flight. We've been pushed into a corner for so long. Our people try to get along with this man. And look what it's gotten us. It hasn't gotten us nowhere.
Gun down the street.
Gun down in the street. But we have learned, man, by this Bible. The Most High woke us up through his son, whom you ignorantly call Jesus Christ.
That's right.
Give me the book of the Apocrypha. You know what I want. Never trust thine enemy. Is there more? You get it, brother. I told you to get it.
Verse 15. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell.
Right, the Most High said the so-called white man in his kingdom is going to be brought down to hell.
That's right.
They talking about what that so-called white dude said about hell? He said we all in hell.
He said you're going to hell.
Oh yeah, he said we going to hell. I said, man, we already in hell.
That's right.
I said, you going to hell. Because right now, this is your kingdom. The so-called white man, this is his heaven.
Isaiah 14, 15, we're going to hell.
Is there more?
To the sides of the pit.
Right, to the side of the pit. They're going in the pit, man.
That's
All
right.
their leaders, Donald Trump, get ready, because you're about to be put in chains. You're about to be put in chains, so-called white man. Is there more? Got throw it out? Is there more? All right, give me the Apocrypha.
Ecclesiastes.
Read loud and say, call the scripture, loud.
The book of Ecclesiastes Apocrypha, chapter 12, verse 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as a lion rusteth, so is his wickedness.
Right, read it again.
Never trust thine enemy.
So it said, never trust your enemy. It said, never trust your enemy. Let him take watch the camera and have something to live. Over here, huh? Read that again.
Never trust thine enemy.
So the Bible said, never trust thine enemy. Get them some literature too. It said, never trust your enemy. Who is our enemy? Who is the number one enemy to the so-called black man, Hispanic man, Native American, West Indian, Indian on the island, on the reservation? Who is the number one enemy to our people? The so-called white man is.
That's right.
He's the number one enemy. He killed our people. He destroyed us. He put us in captivity. This is what this devil has done. A lot of y'all like to forget this. Give him some literature. A lot of y'all like to forget this. You like to forget about the atrocities that the so-called white man has done to our people. Here you got, we supposed to forget these things, right? But here it is, the so-called white man, he's still out for blood for Assata Shakur, for a murder that she didn't even commit. For killing a so-called white man, a crooked-ass cop on the highway, which was nothing but self-defense, because they was attempting to kill Assata Shakur and them other Black Panthers that were with her, and they defended themselves from these devils that try to assassinate them on the highway. And she escaped from prison and went to Cuba, right? She got exiled. Fidel Castro allowed her to come into Cuba. And these so-called white people to this day, man, don't you know that she's in the top 10 FBI most wanted list in the world, Assata Shakur, huh? As a terrorist, labeled as a terrorist. And guess who was in office when she was labeled a terrorist? Your beloved Barack Hussein Obama, whom you love so much, who you trusted in so much, took one of our leaders, right? Somebody that sacrificed a lot of things for our people, and made her into a terrorist.
That's right.
And set a $10 million bond for her bounty.
Yeah.
I remember you from last week. Yeah. Go ahead.
Never trust thy enemy.
So the Bible said, never trust your enemy, man. Okay, and he is the #1 enemy to our people. This is what he has done. So the point that I was making was, he is not going to forgive Assata Shakur for something that had happened damn near 30, 40 years ago. All right? Why we got to forget? He spends $10 million. Hold up, brother. You all right? You got to have... Oh, all right. You got to have order, though. You know, got to respect this line right here. We just can't have anybody that's run up on us. You know what I'm saying? Because right now, we in a state of warfare, man. You understand? So we got to be disciplined. You know what I'm saying? We have mutual respect for each other, but we got to have discipline, man. And respect certain boundaries. You understand? All right, read on. Read it again.
Never trust thy enemy.
Okay, all right. It said, never trust your enemy. And the so-called white man is our #1 enemy. History has proven so. If you don't believe it, just look at his track record. If you don't believe it, just turn on the news. Read on.
For like as iron rusted.
Right, just like iron rust. Can you stop iron from rusting? No. You cannot stop iron from rusting. This is what the so-called white man has done. Go ahead.
For like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness.
Right, for like, Shalom, give him some literature. Huh? He said, for like iron rust,
Brother, good seeing you.
so is his wickedness.
All right.
Meaning he can't stop himself from being wicked. It's like you can't stop iron from rusting. If you take iron and put it in the elements, right? It's gonna eventually rust, man. It's gonna turn into rust. It's like you can't stop iron from rusting. You can't stop the so-called white man from being wicked.
That's right.
You can't stop this devil from being wicked. And here you got these stupid ass, this dumbass camp, all right, called IUIC, that runs around and teach that we're not supposed to teach to hate the so-called white man, or teach that we're not supposed to teach against the so-called white man, or condemn him and his kingdom, when the Bible tells us so. We're supposed to warn our people of this man, man. Our people are in a daze. Are we supposed to tell them about repentance? Yeah. Are we supposed to tell them about Jesus Christ, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ? Yeah, without question. Repent, keep the laws, and know who your enemy is, man. The scriptures say, yea, though I walk through this valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. You got to tell these people about the evils that's out there. You gotta tell them about the enemy, man. Read it again.
Never trust thy enemy.
And tell them never trust this devil, man. That's how he was able to take this country. Right? He got the Indians drunk. He got them drunk and made them sign some documents while they was drunk. Signed their land over while they was drunk. That's how the so-called Indians was signing their land over. But the so-called white man was getting them so drunk and made them sign shit that they didn't know what they were signing. And then the next day, when they said, yo, you gave us this land, they're like, what you talking about? I ain't give you this land. Yes, you did last night. It's right here. Sign it over to us. That's where they came up with that term Indian giver. But the Indians said, hell no, man, I ain't signed shit over to y'all. What are you talking about?
They do that to this day.
And they do that to this day, man. Take their land. They doing it right now in the Midwest.
They take your car, you don't pay your taxes.
Yeah, eminent domain. They'll take your car, you don't pay your taxes. They do that in the courtrooms right now. Our people go in there, you get a public defender, or if you get a bullshit lawyer, right? You think this man is on your side. Next thing you know, you on your way to jail. And you ready to punch the lawyer in the face. You see that all the time, man. Lawyers selling dudes out in the court system. Read on.
Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 11. Though he humble himself.
Right, though he humble himself, even if he tries to be a nice guy. Right? Though he humble himself, he's still a devil, man. A lot of y'all was deceived in thinking that Slick Willie Billy was the first black president.
Yeah, okay.
Y'all love you some Bill Clinton, right? Oh, Bill Clinton he plays the saxophone. He smokes cigars, he smoked a little weed, but he ain't inhaled, but we knew he inhaled. Having sex in the White House. You know what I'm saying? Not knowing that this devil he put in motion, he put in play a lot of policies that went totally against our people. Why you think you do 85% of your prison time now? Good old Bill Clinton.
Prison population boom when he came into office.
The prison population boom when he came into office, man. Thanks to Bill Clinton. He got rid of so many programs that were good for our people, that helped our people, right? You had some of our people that misused it. You know what I'm saying? Certain programs that they had to keep you financially stable that misused it. Yeah. But a lot of our people needed that, man. They needed help, right? To get on their feet.
He the one who came up with that Anti-Terrorism and Effective Death Penalty Act. It was the federal habeas statute limiting the amount of pills that you can take. It was supposed to be only for federal prisoners, but it ended up affecting everybody. All state prisoners. That's why everybody was getting shot down on their pills.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And not only that, but he also came out with the PLRA, the Prison Litigation Reform Act, which prevented prisoners from filing suits to challenge the conditions of their confinement. You know what I'm saying?
So they had to pay money.
They had to pay the money, and a lot of people who had legitimate lawsuits inside of the prison because of abuse in the prison, they weren't able to file their lawsuit because they done exhausted their 3 strikes under that law that he came out with. And not only that, but he also did away with certain welfare things. He did a lot of stuff against our people.
Yeah, the thing with the lawsuit, the first. Yeah, and the thing with the lawsuits, what is it, 250? And I think they raised it.
Yeah, they raised it. They raised it. Last I seen it was years ago. It was at 350.
It was at 350.
Yep.
When it started, it was at 250.
Yeah. Exactly.
So for every lawsuit you filed within the prison system, right, it was $250 you had to pay. that was to deter people from filing a lawsuit. But when you indigent, right? When you indigent, you have a right to recourse. You have a right to remedy and recourse as a. You have a right to remedy and recourse as an American citizen under the Constitution of the United States. So now, if you're indigent, they can't make you pay a filing fee. You go into court, say, I'm indigent, I have no job, and they'll waive your filing fee. Now, what Clinton did was, he said you can't waive your filing fee. You have to pay this fee.
Yep.
Right? This dude was a devil, man. Straight up devil. But guess what? As much of a devil he was, Barack Hussein Obama was even more of a devil than him, man.
That's right.
That's right.
And he was, and he hated his own people, which really wasn't his people. That's the whole thing about it. Even though his skin was black, he was really a so-called African.
Trickaroo.
Okay, he was a so-called African, and there's a major difference in that. Why you think the so-called white man loved Obama so much? Because he wasn't a so-called black man from America. He didn't have baggage, as they would say. And what do they consider baggage? This right here. This is the baggage of the so-called black man in America. According to the so-called white man, this is embedded in you. See, Obama doesn't have this. He's not a descendant of slaves. He's not a descendant of slavery in America.
Difference.
There's a difference, man.
Look, Christian scholars came out with the truth.
Right,
Make
read that.
distinction. This is Hand. And it's the Zondervan's Pictorial Bible Dictionary.
Right, the
This
Zondervan
was published
Dictionary.
by Christian scholars, European scholars. All right? Now, when you look up the word Ham,
Right, Ham. You know about Ham? You know who Ham is in the Bible? Or Ham, you know who Noah is in the Bible? Noah, you ever heard of Noah in the flood? Well, Ham was one of Noah's sons. Okay? Ham was one of Noah's sons. Now we know, well, I don't know if you know, but Noah, well, it's gonna say it, but Noah was a so-called black man, and his 3 sons were all black. Okay? Read what you got.
under the word Ham, in the Pictorial Zondervan Dictionary,
This is the definition of Ham. Go ahead.
the youngest son of Noah,
He was the youngest son of Noah. Go ahead.
born probably about 96 years before the flood.
He was born before the flood. Now the flood was talking about the flood that destroyed the first world. The first world was destroyed by water. The Bible say the second world is going to be destroyed by fire. This world that we living in right now. And when it said the world is going to be destroyed in the Bible, it's not talking about the whole planet Earth or people living on this earth. It's talking about the so-called white man's world. His society is going down. His kingdom is going down. A lot of y'all like to ignore this fact. But guess what? These missiles are real. They're not a sci-fi show. They're not in a museum somewhere. People are gonna use them. One day they're gonna use them. One of these days, people are gonna use these missiles.
That's right.
And it's gonna be the end of your Facebook. It's gonna be the end of your Instagram. The end of your selfies. The end of you looking cute. This is what's coming. It's time to wake up. And it's time to get right. It's gonna be the end of being a sellout for the so-called white man. It's gonna be the end of his kingdom. This is what's coming, man. Read on.
It says, and one of the 8 persons to live through the flood.
Right, he was one of 8 people to live through the flood. Who lived through the flood? Noah, his 3 sons, and their 4 wives, which were 8 souls. And through them they repopulated the earth. Read.
He became the progenitor.
Progenitor. The progenitor means the father of, the forefather. Go ahead.
of the dark races.
Of the dark races. Ham became the progenitor of the dark races. Go ahead.
Not the Negroes.
Not the Negroes. Who's called Negroes on this planet? The so-called Negro here in America, who calls himself black, African American, nigger. They are the Negroes. So what did it say that Ham became the father of the dark? What it said, dark what?
Dark races.
The dark races, but he did not become the father of the Negroes. We are not the same people as Ham.
That's
The
right.
Hamites, which are modern day Africans, are different from the Negroes here in America. They're a different people.
Everybody know that. They know it.
Everybody know that. They know that. Now, a lot of our people are in the Ivory Coast of Africa to this day. The West Coast of Africa, even though they're mixed up with Hamites, right? Because there was a big mixing going on, throughout the years and so forth. A lot of our people are still over there. There's a remnant.
Who was it that they sold?
But who did they sell? It wasn't, the Africans didn't sell their own people into slavery. No nation is gonna sell their own people into slavery to another nation. They were selling a people that they knew were different from them.
That's right.
They were not selling people from their own tribe, from their own nation, from their own family. They were selling Israelites. How did the Israelites get into Africa from Jerusalem? In the year 70 AD, when the Roman Titus took down Jerusalem, it was estimated that over 1 million Jews fled into Africa. Where they migrated into Africa, these were black Jews, where they migrated into Africa for 500 years and eventually settled in the Ivory Coast of Africa, the Gold Coast, and set up great kingdoms like Timbuktu. And then they became wicked, just like Israel always becomes wicked and turned toward the degenerate nations. Timbuktu eventually converted into Islam. Converted to Islam, that bullshit ass religion down the street. Eventually converted into Islam, and basically, financed and gave so much money in the beginning to Islam to start their war machine. The brother in I forget his name, but y'all can look it up in the history, right? But they said he made golden staffs, like he doing like a yard long, solid pipes of gold. Thousands of them came from the Ivory Coast of Africa, and he brought them to Mecca. And he had all Israelite men carry these staffs and bring them to the Dome of the Rock, and gave them to the Mohammedans over there as tribute. And that was an Israelite that converted to Islam and made his whole kingdom convert to Islam. Read on. Finish that off.
Though he humbled himself and
There was more. Oh, that was it on that?
No, matter of fact, it tells you who Ham was
But the Egyptians, yeah. Yup, finish that off.
Ham, the word Ham, in the pictorial dictionary Zondervan, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of the 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races.
Right, he became the progenitor of the dark races, meaning the father of the dark races. Read on.
Not the Negro.
He did not become the father of the so-called Negroes. Read on.
But the Egyptians.
But the who?
The Egyptians.
He became the father of the Egyptians. Read on.
Ethiopians.
The Ethiopians. Read on.
Libyans.
The Libyans. Go ahead.
And the Canaanites.
And the Canaanites. Who are the Canaanites? The modern day South Africans. Those are the Canaanites. That's good right there. Go back to the Apocrypha. Go ahead.
Though he humble himself.
Right, though he humbled himself. This is talking about the so-called white man. Started from the top. Verse 10.
Never trust thy enemy.
Never trust your enemy. Go ahead.
For like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself.
Though he humble himself, meaning he try to act like he your friend. He try to act like he a good guy. Mr. Rogers in the neighborhood. Rock you to sleep. Right? Mr. Rogers, all he want to do is take little boys downstairs in the basement and ask if they want a popsicle. That's what the so-called white man is. He's a homosexual and a pedophile by nature. Don't be. If this devil had enough time to rule this earth, in 10 years, they're gonna legalize pedophilia. Right? I just went into and we just used the bathroom over there. What did the sign say for the bathroom? Did you catch it?
No, he didn't catch
It said, like, basically it was like, you could be anything, transgender.
Sex,
You know what I'm saying? They had all the signs up there for the bathroom. Okay, go ahead.
Though he humble himself.
Right, though he humbled himself. I'm just bringing that as an example to show you how this man is a devil, man. They got unisex bathrooms, transgender bathrooms, right? They got it where if you transgender, you could go into whatever gender you want to go into. So if you mean to tell me, if I want to go to the to YWCA, right, and go take a shower with the girls, I could do that. So now here you got high school kids, right? So you mean to tell me that they're gonna go play sports, or you gonna have a boy on the girls' basketball team, cause he think he's a girl, and then go shower with them? That's wicked. You know what I'm saying? If that's wicked if it happened, right? But what if somebody be like, what if somebody just a freak and be like, yo, and be like white girls? That's movie White Girls with them two. I forgot them dudes' names.
Wayne's brothers.
The Wayne's brothers, right? They pretended to be white girls so they could go play basketball or something, or go to college or some shit.
They were spying on somebody.
Yeah, I never watched the movie. I just, see the commercial. But there was another movie about something like that too, right? Where a dude acted like he was a girl and got a scholarship to go play basketball.